A shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak. And what I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who is the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorantly calls God, in the name of his Son, Yahweh Shai, who is the Messiah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, in the name of the Holy Spirit, which in Hebrew is Rakak. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And I wanted to do this lesson on these two verses here in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. And in this chapter, it goes into Yahweh Shai's return, okay? But I wanted to focus on verses 17 and 18, right? So this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verses 17 and 18. It says, "Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall be fruit in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Yet I will rejoice in Yahweh. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation." Okay, and the note I got here basically says, this will be because of the destruction. Fig trees won't blossom, no fruit on the vines, the fields won't have anything because of the destruction. But Habakkuk is saying, although all of this is going to be happening, as he says in the next verse, yet I will trust in Yahweh. I will joy in the God of my salvation. All right. Yet he's saying, although, this stuff is happening, yet he's going to rejoice in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Why? Because although the Lord, so what this is all saying is, because although the Lord will return and it's going to be scary and destructive, it's through that process that the elect will be delivered. You see? Because the scriptures talk about, right, that these times that we coming into, right, it's going to be very, destructive and, and look, even just like the deliverance, okay, like the time of the day of the Lord, which you should know what the day of the Lord is by now, all right? The day of the Lord is when Yahweh Shai returns and the nuclear missiles are shot. The scriptures say this. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18. It says, "And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?" Because we know that, it's gonna be like the elect are almost not gonna be saved, okay? But they are gonna be saved. So it's that scarce that it's like, that's why it says scarcely be saved. The righteous are scarcely gonna be saved. See, they're scarcely gonna be delivered. But although, it's gonna be a destructive time and everything, okay? Although it's going to be destructive, you see, the Lord is going to deliver his elect. But the thing is, we're going to have to go through that, okay? And all these things that we see in the world, right? All these things that we see in the world going on, right? These things are all leading up to those final moments. 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37. "By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled." So the Lord is not going to skip over prophecies. All right. We're not going to go from literally, for example, right in this moment in time to tomorrow being in the kingdom of heaven. You just wake up in a new body or something like that. All right. And, the nations are already subdued and we judging the nations and everything. No. Okay. Not yet. You see, the MOTB hasn't even been made mandatory yet, man. All Jacob's trouble hasn't officially broken loose yet. You see? So, the Lord is not going to skip over these things. You see? But there's a process, and these people, they want to ignore Jacob's trouble. They don't want to think about it, but it's coming. Just because you ignore something, that's like somebody standing in the middle of the street and a truck coming down the street. And because you don't want the truck to hit you, you're just going to act like it's not there. The truck is still coming. Move out the way. All right? And as the scriptures say, since I said that, the scriptures say this. This is the book of Proverbs. That's probably already know what I'm about to get. Proverbs 22:3. "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." So a wise man is going to, notice the evil coming, the destruction coming afar off. And before it arrives, he's going to, hide himself. All right. How do you hide yourself in this time? With all this destruction coming, how do you hide yourself in this time? By turning to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay. That's how you hide yourself. All right. Because this destruction is coming. Make no mistake. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, 1 through 8. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. We know Babylon, what? America. Verse 2. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. Right? So, it's saying like, look, this is basically, your destruction is here. These people, their destruction is here. It's time for these people's destruction. Verse 3, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Yeah, all these plagues and everything that's coming in Jacob's trouble. Look, there's no turning it back. People thought when Trump was about to get in office that he was going to fix the world. Look at what's going on. You see? The Lord is not playing. You think Trump was going to stop the Lord? It says, verse 6, may any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it hath begun to burn? And the answer is no. You're not going to make a hungry lion run away. All right. You're not going to stop fire when it's begin to burn in the stubble. Okay. Verse 7, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? Are you going to make, if a strong archer shoots a bow and arrow, are you going to make the arrow do a U-turn in midair? No. So likewise, verse 8, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? So just like you can't do any of those things, right? Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is sending plagues on this world. Right? He's going to send plagues. And there's nobody that can drive them away. There's nobody that can stop them. Okay? Nobody. All right? I don't care who you think you are. You see? But the point is, I'm trying to get is that these things are coming. Right? Now, you can't escape it. The only way to so-called escape it is if the Lord takes you out before it happens. All right? And even with that, real quick, we know that some people are going to be resurrected at the time of the nuclear destruction. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20. In verse 13, it says, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, as literal. All right. Dead people are going to be coming up out of the sea for this, for judgment. And death and hell, the grave, delivered up the dead which were in them. Okay. And they were judged, every man according to their works. Bear with me 1 second. All right. Just got to double check something, Make sure I got that right. Bear with me just 1 second. It's a lock. Yeah, so it says here, and so I'm gonna read it again, Revelation 20 and 13, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, right? Literal, because some people died in the seas. It says, in death and hell, the people that died and hell be in the grave, people that's in the grave, said delivered up the dead which were in them, right? It says, and they were judged every man according to their works. Okay, and a precept to this is the book of St. John, chapter 5 and verse 28. It says, marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life. Because you have some of the elect that passed already, right? So when Yahweh Shai comes, the elect that passed are going to be on a chariot first. Apostle Paul talked about that. It says, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So the Lord is going to have some wicked people be resurrected just to get destroyed. See? So the point I'm trying to say is that even even if you do pass away, let's say before all hell breaks loose, it's possible to be one of those people that the Lord resurrects to get destroyed. So it's not like you're really getting away, But I wanted to say basically that because this world is gonna go through Jacob's trouble. Make no mistake, because that's the process. That through that process, because look, if Jacob's trouble does not happen, the deliverance can't come. Let's understand something here. If Jacob's trouble does not happen, the elect will not be delivered. Okay? If Jacob's trouble doesn't happen, the elect won't be delivered. So we have to go through Jacob's trouble. We have to go through societal collapse. We have to go through this devil coming down with great wrath. We have to go through the MOTB being made mandatory. We have to go through these things. You have to. There is no getting around that. You have to. This world must. Because the elect are going to be delivered. Does not the scripture say this? Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. See? So it's talking about the time of Jacob's trouble. Which we know entails what? Martial law, lockdowns, the charagma, all hell breaking loose, societal collapse, like you see like the purge and everything like that. Okay? It says what? But he shall be saved out of it. And it's called Jacob's trouble because this is the time coming where majority of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are in trouble. All right? The Lord is bringing wrath upon you for your wickedness. That's what this is about. And this is a part of prophecy. All right? But it says, but he shall be saved out of it. And Daniel 12:1 talks about that the elect are going to be saved out of it. Really? See? And that goes to show you salvation is only for Israel. How about that? All right? Now, how about that, man? Okay? How about that? That's another lesson in itself. Okay? But this goes to show you, because how is the salvation coming? Yahweh Shai. See? So you see, back like we read in 2 Ezra 4:37, the Lord is not going to skip prophecies. One prophecy has to happen, then another one is going to happen. And for the prophecy of deliverance to come that Yahweh Shai is going to bring, Jacob's trouble has to be going on. It has to be happening. You see? Now, once again, this world must go through it. All right? So the only thing, really, is for you to be protected through it. That's the only thing. Okay? 2 Ezra chapter 9. No, yeah, Slakia. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 7 through 8. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils. And perils means danger, right? So those, which the elect are going to have, works and faith, because they go hand in hand, right? They're the ones who are going to be protected from all the dangers that's coming. You see? Shall be preserved, kept, protected. Shamar. All right, it says, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. This goes to show you the Lord is only going to protect his elect in that time. I'm going to read it again. And everyone, talking about these certain people, right, that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils. The Lord is going to protect these people, right? And they're going to be kept through the dangers. It says, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, the elect, predestinated for salvation. They're the only ones the Lord is going to protect during this time. See? So, with that being said, right, everybody else is effed. They fucked. Everybody else is fucked, man. You see? So the only safety, because knowing that this world has to go through this time period of Jacob's trouble, right? Knowing that this world has to go through it, the only safety you're going to get is of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Let me get that real quick. This is Proverbs 21:31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. See? So, like how in ancient world they would prepare a horse for war, But the safety, the deliverance through everything, that comes from Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? The Lord is the one that's going to protect. That's where the true protection in this time is coming from. Not Esau, not nobody else. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Psalm 33. And for you damn women, right, you're going to have to get with an elect man of the Lord. And if he, allows you to. See? Because what? Ultimately, because, as Isaiah 32:2 says, he's going to be a safe haven to you, going to be a protector to you and everything. Right? But ultimately, where does he get that ability to protect you from? From Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. So even for the women, ultimately, the protection comes from the Lord. So this is the book of Psalms 33. And let's start at verse 16. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. Right? A king is not delivered because he has a big army, right? A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. Yeah, you have people that bench and squat so many pounds that they talk about, right? Hundreds of pounds and stuff. Okay? And you got people that, can run for long distances and fast. All right? And, they know how to fight. Everybody, that's the thing now. Learning how to fight and go to the gym and everything. That's the thing now, right? Verse 17, a horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Verse 18, behold, the eye of Yahweh is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, right? To deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. He is our help and our shield. So that's where the protection is at. You see? The Lord is going to deliver his elect souls from death. All right, he's going to keep them alive in famine. Now, we know some elect going to be martyrs, but ultimately the protection is going to be for the elect in this time. You look at these different movies and things out here. Okay, you look at these different movies, all right, of, the end times and Jacob's trouble, the Purge, Bushwick, things like that, the book of Eli. You see how destructive it is. You see? But isn't that like, look, man, you should praise Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai because the elect, we're going to be living, well, I say we, Lord willing, we're of the elect, even if we're not of the elect, we're going to be living in those times. But if we are of the elect, the Lord is going to be protecting us throughout all of that. See? All of it. Now you're going to be in the midst of, we're going to be living through it. But what do the scriptures say, man? That's why it's called the Comforter. Psalm 91:7-8. 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. See that? People are going to be dropping all around. Scriptures talked about in 2 Ezra 5, right? That many that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, meaning a lot of people are going to be deleted. See? And for all various reasons. But ultimately, okay, the elect are going to be preserved through all of it, man. Okay? Through all of it. You see? So, but understand, we have to go through this process and trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because we know that even though, look, the day of the Lord, that's, because when the missiles come, that's the icing on the cake. That's it. All right? That's, that's the last day of Esau's, rule. All right? That's the last day of his him being in power on earth. All right? Is when Yahweh Shai comes back. That's the day of the Lord. All right? The missiles are going to be shot on that day. And before that day comes, the world is going to be torn. It's going to be, right? It's going to be broken down. Life ain't going to be like what it is now. All right? Like how it is, when you're watching this video, when life is up and running in stores and everything, while the evil days come not. See? So by that time, man, it's going to be, it's going to be a different world. But through all that, the missiles coming and everything like that, that is how the elect is going to get delivered, man. So, hey, brothers, it's going to be a destructive time. All right. And ultimately, through that process of the nuclear missiles dropping and everything, look, through the nukes being shot off, and we don't know who the elect is. On that day, you're really going to know, all right, because you're going to, because you either going to get destroyed or taken up in the chariot. Let me get back to Revelation 20 real quick. Revelation chapter 20. And, that's, dealing with America. Of course, you're of the elect. You either gonna, if you're of the elect, you're going to get taken up. But if you're not, you're going to get destroyed. Thus saith the Bible, as it says right here, verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. See? So if you're not of the elect in America, you are going to be destroyed in that nuclear destruction that's coming. All right, if you're still here by then. Okay? So, that's, and if the Lord brings you back, to life, to get nuked. Okay, so we understand, that it's going to be a very destructive time. It's going to be a very scary time, but, them nukes dropping and everything, it's a needful process, because without that, we ain't going to get delivered, man. Okay? So, hey, with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well, peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect of Israel. Shalom to the elect.